Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Jen. I make faith, lifestyle, and teaching videos. And in today's video is about first year teacher tips. So I'm currently making this video as I am less than 3 weeks out from the start of another school year. And it's been one of my goals to try to put videos out there that I know I would have appreciated as a beginning teacher. I, at this point, have taught for about 6.5 years, and out of those years, this is going to be my 3rd year in the public school system. These tips are going to be ones that any teacher can take, regardless of what year of teaching you're in. One tip that I think is invaluable is to be patient and to give grace to yourself. What I mean by this is to kind of be patient with yourself in everything. So if you're literally starting out in your first year, I don't know what your education background is. I don't know if you have gone to college to study to become a teacher, or if teaching could maybe be your second career or whatever it might be. But there are going to be a lot of things that you're going to learn in this first year of teaching. And regardless of what that thing is that you're going to learn, just be patient with yourself in the process and give grace to yourself in the idea that cutting yourself some slack, you could say, if you don't do things perfectly the first time or nail it, the first time. Just things take practice, and being patient with yourself and giving grace to yourself is definitely something to continuously remind yourself of. My second tip for you is to be well acquainted with your procedures and with your classroom management system. The more acquainted you are with what you want your procedures to be, do you want them to raise their hands before they get out of their seat to throw something away, to sharpen their pencils? These are things to decide on as early as possible so that come the first week of school, you're able to tell these procedures to your students and to practice them. Practice them by keeping them accountable to what you expect in the classroom. There's classroom management. There are a lot of resources out there. I'll link down below a couple accounts on Instagram that I think do a really good job at having conscious classroom management, or even like social, emotional learning classroom management, because that's really important. My third tip to you is to set your boundaries. So boundaries can look like a lot of things. If there's one thing that I can appreciate about today's culture, is that boundaries can be pretty celebrated. Of course, it can go to an extreme of, okay, we gotta also let people live their lives, but boundaries as a first-year teacher can look like not taking on every extracurricular club or need that a school has, especially in your first year. For one thing, those extracurricular clubs, needs of the school are often unpaid. So unless if you feel really grounded in your teaching and that you have the time and capacity to take on those extra things, then go for it. But if you don't feel that you are confident enough for those things, focus on your teaching, focus on your students, especially in that first year of teaching. Now, along with boundaries, kind of the other side of that coin, you could say, is to avoid taking work home. It's easy for someone to say to avoid taking work home, but it's a bit layered. So do what you need to not take work home. Whether that means really locking in and focusing during your planning period to prep and plan and grade as much as you can, or whether that means you do stay 30 minutes or an hour after school to prep, plan, grade for the next day. I know I feel like everyone will be like, you even stay an hour after school or whatever. Yes, I currently sometimes still do that, partially because in my district, the school day ends at 3:10, and my husband doesn't even get off of work until 5 p.m. And we currently don't have any kids, so it's just my husband and me. So I can give an hour after school to kind of catch up on some things. And because I do that, I often do not take work home because I'm able to at least complete it at school. So first year of teaching though, it's unfortunate to say, but it is kind of normal to take work home during your first year of teaching, just because so many things are new. Curriculum is probably new to you. Grading and knowing what your workflow with grading can take a while, especially as an ELA teacher with those papers and paragraphs that you really want to focus on. So even though it might be kind of normal to take work home, try to avoid that as much as possible. Next tip for you guys is to enjoy the process. It's your first year of teaching. It is a process, meaning that knowing how you want to set up your class is a process. Knowing what procedures and classroom management work, how those work for you, that is a process. And do your best to enjoy that process, because everything with teaching, every procedure that you do, every lesson that you teach, if you stick with it, can be improved upon throughout the year as the years go by. Truly, I think that that is one reason why there are so many teachers still in the profession, is knowing that teaching is a skill. You can practice at it. You can be better at it. You can be more efficient. You can make lessons more fun. It's all about growing in the process and to try to enjoy this whole process as well. My last tip for you guys is to lean into your faith and your community. I don't think that all of you guys who are watching, you're probably not all Christians, but I am a Bible-believing Christian, and there is no possible way that I could get through a single year of teaching without the Lord. And I know that so many people do. So many people rely on themselves or rely on a faith that is not Christianity. But I'm just speaking from my personal experience. There are so many times, basically every single day, I go into the school day. I pray that the Lord would help me to love my students as I know that God loves them. And when I can look through a lens of each student that I interact with is loved by God, then why can't I love them as well, is a very humbling thing for me. Even from the perspective of every human being is worthy of love. And from the Christian perspective, I know that every human being is loved by God. And I lean into my faith a lot to help get me through each and every moment of my day. In regards to community, my community often looks like my husband, obviously my church family, and, the fellow staff at the school. I am very grateful for my husband and for the listening ear that he has basically every single day if I'm venting about something that happened. But try to find someone at the school that you can relate to. Maybe you do have a mentor teacher of sorts. Even though this is going to be my 3rd year going into my particular school, I am determined to still call my mentor teacher because I'm able to discuss situations with her that happened and to ask if she would handle things differently than I did, or how to teach something better, or just to be there with me in this sometimes crazy teaching journey. So lean into your faith, lean into your community to help you along the way, especially with it being your 1st year of teaching. For the last part of my video, I wanted to do just a quick rapid fire sharing of different tips that some of my friends on Instagram shared with me as well, as far as tips for a 1st year teacher. We have, don't try to do all the Insta teacher things. Pick a few likes, then try new things next year. Oof, we can really go into this. Instagram leads to comparison so often and so easily. So yeah, don't try to do all the things. Just do things year by year. It's okay not to have everything done at the end of the day. Absolutely. Prioritize. Do what you know you need to do first. You need to be prepared to teach the next day. Some grading really can wait. You don't need to make it too pretty. You don't need to make it too perfect. It's okay to not have everything done at the end of the day. This friend also said, kids are the first priority. If you have to choose between teaching or taking care of the kids and doing some kind of paperwork, kids always win. Always choose the kids. There will be time for paperwork later. Last thing from this friend, also at home, paper plates are the way to go at the beginning and end of the school year, especially if you don't have a dishwasher. Yeah, in lifestyle, apart from school, give that grace to yourself. Do what you need to do to avoid that stress, right? And last couple things, it gets better. Make time for yourself and try not to take work home. Emphasizing, it does get better. The 1st year inevitably tends to be pretty hard, one of your hardest ones, just because so many things are new. Next thing, and build good relationships with your students. It'll make discipline easier. And all of these things are so true. Thank you so much for your time. I hope it was helpful. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I would super appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in my next video.